good, everybody? What is good, yo? Yeah, I'm like, this was by far the most edgiest edgelord show I have ever seen, man. Wow. Goblin Slayer, absolutely brutal, absolutely not for anyone who is lighthearted. Um, just a forewarning at the rip. Like this show is definitely going to be controversial, and I think it has one of them feelings of it that I can really, credit it to having an appeal of audience that's definitely going to be into it. Is definitely like the Berserk fans. Um, I want to say like some people who like ReZero. Uh, just very, very dark and gritty type of anime. And from what I'm already seeing, they really have no problem pushing the boundaries of anything or anyone. So expect the unexpected in the sense of you're like, oh, that this could be possible for that to happen to them. Expect them to do it, like that. That's pretty much what I got from episode one. That we know what make they know what makes people cringe. They know what makes people want to go into the anime itself and just stab a goblin in the face. They know all these things, and that's exactly what they're going to play on. Um, and with all that being said, if you're someone that can easily be, hurt by what you see or what you're seeing and then start to believe it, this is definitely an anime that's going to hurt you. Um, and I'm pretty sure they did that on purpose, so just to see that that's their intentions and that that's pretty much where this show is about to head. Um, I can't wait to see what could actually happen towards the end, or what's something that actually can defeat this disgusting taste in my mouth of what's already happened. Like, can they even make something more vile and disgusting than this? And the answer is probably. That's how much faith I have in this show already, with how just disturbing the start of it was. So to be right into it, just like how they jumped right into it, start out with a girl who pretty much wants to be an adventurer. She's just turned 15. That's an adult in this world, clearly. And once you're 15, you could become an adventurer. And of course, once she gets all of her things filled in and signed up, it was almost like too good to be true type of deal where all of a sudden a group of people who are her exact age, are just waiting for somebody to show up. Which, in in high respect, like thinking about it overall right now, it does make a lot of sense to why they would have targeted her to be the one to, come with them on this journey and get this adventure in. And it's simply because they already knew that if she said no, she's pretty much saying no to people and help. Um, Not to mention, she would be saying no, because she's pretty much scared for her own reasons. She would be saying no. So, to become an adventurer, it's like you need to be selfless, and to have your first mission offered to you, and the first thing you do is want to run away and say no to it, would have been the opposite of what you probably want the start of your mission to be. So it was kind of seemingly like a trick on their part of like forcing her in a situation where of course she wouldn't want to be in, um, but also force her in a situation that none of them were even ready for. So why in the heck would she ever be ready for something like that? So it really, really hurt to watch this episode, and I think that's exactly what this anime is going for. And if it is, um, I'm truly just gonna have to bite down on my lip and just, you know, go with it because ReZero is probably one of the other closest animes that give you that urgency of, not urgency, but that feeling of just depression in the sense of you hope the best for some of these characters. I'm not saying I hope the best for this girl, for example, but I mean, she's 15 and this is her first adventure. Of course, I was hoping at least something good would come out of it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going in this anime and you're like, oh, since I don't even know this girl from one episode in, she could die 5 times over and I wouldn't care. Like, okay, then have fun with that, Mr. Heartless. But if you're like me, who's looking at it in the sense of like, okay, all of this that's going down, what, what else could happen if certain people didn't show up, or if, she didn't even take this quest in the first place? Would she have been in a better position further down the road of, not having to live with this type of guilt? And I think that's another thing that this show put forward, someone living with that guilt of, people losing their lives and stuff like that, and not on top of losing their life, the whole time they were trying to save, her. They were trying to make sure she got out okay, and the first girl that got attacked got out okay. Which there was a 4 team group, one guy, 3 girls, and the mission is go attack these goblins that have kidnapped some girls and have attacked a village and took livestock and food and stuff like that. So they couldn't leave until they had a fourth. They get the fourth that's never done anything ever before. The man with the sword has a sword that was predicted to already be his downfall by him showing it off and saying, all I need to do is do this to a goblin and it's over, and showing us that the cave was much too small in swinging range for him to have that type of sword. So it already had told us, like, this kid has made no type of thought process into where he's traveling and just what he could be getting himself into. And they really, really force that home when that is absolutely his downfall. From seeing someone on the ground pretty much hurt. The first girl who started using magic and started using like a firebolt, which kind of sounds like the move from Dan Machi. Um, but firebolt has been in a lot of animes I've noticed as of lately. Like every move that kind of starts out with like fire and it's being casted, that's usually the one thing they continuously go to. I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed that, but let me know. But yeah, so she gets, takes out one, starts feeling cocky, and just by taking out her staff and breaking it, she pretty much knew herself that trying to use the incognation or trying to even chant out what she had been chanting before without it would be pretty much useless, and even the goblins themselves kind of knew that, or they just knew that a giant stick could lead to giant problems or something. Like they say the goblins are unintelligent, but because of a shaman that is actually the ringleader, he has them hiding in different spots, waiting for the enemy to not notice them in the shadow. And if 2 people split up or 4 people split up and there's some behind, those are the people that you need to take out quickly. And how quickly can you do it? Oh, just use this poison dagger that even when being healed, you're not going to recover from it unless you have the antidote. So these goblins were no regular goblins. And with the show being called Goblin Slayer, I felt like you kind of already, put yourself in a hole, in the sense of like the fandom and just what you can offer overall as a full-on show. I mean, I understand that just because it's called Goblin Slayer doesn't mean they should have to be bound to only showing goblins fighting and goblins being defeated. But once you put a show's name like that, it kind of does put you in that light. But I think the show is self-aware of it, is where I'm going with this, is because as soon as, that's my thought process. As soon as, this episode even starts up, I'm just like, Goblin Slayer, that means we'll probably never see anything else other than goblins, like what good can goblins really do for a whole series of fighting and a whole series of building up characters to fight more goblins? But already we had three variants of goblins, not to mention the kids, which I guess aren't really a variant, it's just a stage of all goblins. They all start out as kids, but learning that the kids can become the most deadliest of them all also really puts the show on a conscious, like it's conscious of what it's doing, among other things that it's doing, that it knows it's doing. And I think that's what's really scary about these types of shows, that they really don't have a filter. And if you don't have a filter on a show, you might go too far, or you might, back up too soon when you've already gone beyond, the return point, and then you're trying to back up and, take back some things you did. There's things that can go wrong, but that's with every show. And I did really appreciate this first episode in the sense of the Goblin Slayer absolutely just being a savage. No matter if you're a kid, no matter if you're the strongest, he treated all them goblins the same, and all of them got bodied the same. Besides maybe the the leader who took a spear to the freaking chest, who he pretty much did that to incapacitate him and keep him down, at the sense of, just don't make him inactive. The strongest one who can cast spells needs to not be doing anything, is pretty much what I got from what he did there. The only problem was the goblins seemed quite like uh, humane in a way, which I think another thing is another way of the show is going to draw in the attention of why the goblins can be more than just can actually hold this show on its back, of if it is the only thing that they fight and learn about. Because from what I saw, the goblins were protecting the kid. They had the kids in a barricaded spot with their strongest person protecting the door, so no one could get into those kids. So they were protecting people just as we would go out and protect people. And the sad thing is, goblins are considered weak and dumb and docile, but that's just because that's what humans call them, and that's what humans see of them. But all of a sudden, when maybe the goblins saw what humans were doing, they took some of the, took the ideas out of our books. They've probably been stalking a lot of these humans before they made moves and learned what they could take from them, or just learn their ways of living. And everything these goblins have done are things humans have done. So, including magic in this world. So, we'll see where this goes. Very, very edgy. If you want an edge lord of a show, this is going to be probably the edgiest show of 2018. Right next to Baki and all those other shows that are very graphic when it comes down to deaths and just not really caring about anything when it comes down to showing stuff that is pretty brutal. And take all of this that I'm saying about it being edgy and dark and all that, and then if you really don't want to be spoiled, do not read the manga and stuff like that. But from what I could tell from people's reaction of knowing this show was even a thing, and that the manga is where they're taking all of the inspiration from, people were people were skeptical that this show could even exist. So, yeah, take that as you will. It's gonna get very dark very soon. So, um, just just choose wisely, okay? But with that, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed. I also saw that there's a couple more shows that I did look very interested in. One of them called like Release the Spice or something like that. So, if you are new here and you are just joining me on this video, make sure you drop a subscribe. I will be dropping as much content as possible. Any shows that I really find that I enjoy or that I want to share my opinion of just like how certain things go down or how I saw it if people might not see it the same way as me. I like to talk about it and watch throughout the whole series to see if they keep that same energy or if they, did that on one episode and it's different throughout the rest so we can have all different discussions about these animes. So, if you're looking forward to that, make sure you subscribe with notifications on. I will be dropping as much as I can, like I said, and I hope you guys enjoyed this and what comes in the future. I'm not really sure which games I'm going to be playing all the time in the background for you guys, so I hope you enjoy what I can get you guys out. I really try to use games that kind of match the scene or anime that I watch or that I'm talking about. So if you notice that trend, good on you. But if you don't, it's all good. I'll just be doing my own thing. And if you guys do have suggestion of games you want to see, let me know in the comments as well, and I can try to put forth out that. So with that, everybody, take care. I hope you have a good day, night, morning, whenever you watch this, and I will talk to y'all in the next one if you do decide to come back. So with that, peace.